guys, welcome to another class. The title of the class, The Genie Called Faith. Right practice 01. We need right practice to ensure a favorable rebirth, because in the absence of a favorable rebirth, we will live in a zombie forest. Okay. Brother John's father, was suffering from TB. His lungs badly infected. And the doctors had predicted that wouldn't be very long before he boarded the space shuttle, looming on the horizon for his next rebirth. John, however, had other plans for his papa. So, one fine morning, he came into Dad's room in the hospital and said, "Hey, Dad, you wouldn't believe what happened yesterday." "What happened, son? What happened?" "Well, I was visiting Steve. You know Steve?" "Yeah, Steve. And there was this fellow at his house. Amazing fellow, radiant, glowing. He had just returned home from years of traveling in Europe. He had been visiting all kinds of healing shrines in Europe, and he had just come back home. And I met him in Steve's house." "Dad?" "Yeah, so what?" "Well, he has acquired, through great difficulty, a special ring, Dad. A special ring. It has the fragment of the true cross inside it, dating back to the Middle Ages." "Really?" "Yes, Dad. Thousands of people have been healed by just holding the ring and praying for healing. Thousands have been healed. And he showed me the ring, Papa. He showed me the ring. Amazing ring. And I asked him if I could borrow it for just 24 hours to see if it will do some wonders for you. Do you want to see the ring, Papa? You want to see the ring?" "Yes, give it to me." So, from his pocket, takes out the ring and shows it to his dad. And his dad just grabs it from him and holds it to his chest and starts to pray. And in the process of his deep praying, he falls into a deep sleep. Falling into a deep sleep, he remains restful. Next morning, when the doctors come to visit, and they take some tests, they're all negative. The TB has disappeared, vanished into the void. Amazing. Healings of this sort happen all the time. The fascinating thing about this story is that John's story was all fictitious. He had been lying through his teeth. Yeah. All he had done was picked up just a fragment of some stick in his garden, went to a jeweler, had it set in a ring of antique design, and presented it to his father. His dad never learned the truth of the ring, that it was fake, just a placebo. If he had learned the truth of the ring, he would have relapsed and popped before his time. But he never learned the truth of the ring. Yeah? Fascinating. So his dad, with TB gone, he lived for another 15 years in a state of pretty good health. And he died at the age of 89 due to age-related illnesses. Nothing to do with TB. Fascinating. The genie called faith. So was it that enigmatic ring that healed him? Of course not. It was a fake. So, what did heal him? The power of the mind. Yes. You see, the thing is, whatever we believe to be true, whatever we accept as fact, gospel truth, comes to abide with us. Yeah? Becomes our constant companion. The good, the bad, the ugly. The decision is always ours. And once we make that decision, we are the ones who have to live with it. If it's a great decision, no worries, mate. If it is not a very skillful, suffering coming. What am I pointing at? The way most people live their lives. When it comes to achieving great things, it is our doubting and fearing mind that blocks the unfolding of miracles. That's what I'm pointing at. Yeah? Whatever we believe to be real, whatever we accept as fact, gospel truth, it comes to abide with us. So, fortunately, John's papa, for several lifetimes possibly, had predisposed himself to believing in miracles. He was a devotee of miracles, believed in them implicitly. And it was this deep belief in miracles that sparked his healing. Most of us, nah, it's not possible. Walk on water? Not possible. Heal the dead? Wake up people from the dead? Not possible. Really? The genie called faith. So please tell me. Yes, virtually tell me. What prevents people from living a vibrant, enriching life? Countless people not living it. What prevents it? The negative, self-limiting narratives and the equally negative, self-limiting actions which flow from these narratives is what blocks most people from marinating in the quality of life they desire and deserve. That's what blocks them, not life. Devil's voice, yeah, is the negative, self-limiting narratives that block most people from achieving miracles. Those who leave, please understand, those who leave a lasting legacy in this world, legacy of amazing stuff that blesses so many people's lives, what's about them? They have one titanic trait in common. And what is that? Those who leave a fantastic legacy in this world, fantastic, awe-inspiring legacy in the world. Art, science, music, sports, whatever it is. Yeah, they all share one titanic trait, characteristic in common. And this is their tremendous curiosity and drive, which I spoke of in the last class. Yeah, their tremendous curiosity and drive to discover their unrealized potential, unexpressed potential, and to realize the mystical nature of the world they live in, so that they can place themselves in harmony with these forces for achieving their deepest desires. Yeah? We have to know the truth about ourselves and the world we live in, for only then can we establish a palpable, deeply enriching relationship with the world around us. If we don't know ourselves or the world around us, how it operates, we are heading for disaster. Yes, by default. Okay? I When we know ourselves and this world around us like the back of our hand, that's when we awaken the genie within us, the genie called faith. And when this genie awakens, like the genie in Aladdin's lamp, the wildest things open up for us. Wildest, amazing things open up for us. So, what is this genie called faith? Seeing that our reality emanates from, seeing that our reality emanates from our state of mind. Whatever we experience in this world, whatever, the good, the bland, or the ugly, it is an indication, a clear reflection of the thoughts and actions we engage in daily. Once again, what is this genie called faith? Seeing that our reality emanates, emerges from our state of mind. Whatever we experience in this world is a clear announcement. It's a clear indication of the thoughts, feelings, words, and actions that are flowing out of us from moment to moment. That's the genie called faith. I'll explain more. Stay tuned. A salesman was taking shelter in a hotel. It was late. He decided to stay in the hotel before moving on the next day. While he was gobbling his dinner in the restaurant, he was looking out the window at this blinding snowstorm. He called the waiter up and said, "Hey, buddy, do you think the roads will be fit for traveling tomorrow morning with this storm out there?" And what did the waiter tell him? He said, "Sir, that depends whether you're on salary or on commission." Beautiful answer. Yeah? Here's a salesman looking out the window at a blinding snowstorm and asking the waiter if the next day the roads would be fit to travel. And the waiter very astutely replied, "Sir, it all depends on whether you're on salary or on commission." State of mind. Yeah? If you're on a commission basis, you want to make money. Money, money, money. The roads will be fit to travel. If you're on salary, you can have an excuse for not traveling. All in the mind. Yeah? Seeing that our reality emanates from our state of mind, we need to be extremely vigilant as to what we are emanating because it's going to be reflected back to us. Okay. All right. Here's another amazing story from the Bible. Heathens. Have you read the Bible? When Jesus was returning to Galilee with his crew, his disciples, in their little boat, they were coming in their boat from the land of the Gerasenes back to Galilee. And as their boat landed on the western shore of the lake, a crowd of people were waiting to welcome them, all clamoring to see Jesus and his disciples. In the crowd, there was a fellow, leader of the synagogue, a man called Jairus, who pushed through the crowd, fell at Jesus' feet and begged him, my Lord, please come to my house. My daughter, she's 12 years old, she's dying, and no physician is able to help her. Please come and help save her life, my Lord. I can't bear to lose her. So Jesus said, sure, buddy, let's go. Show me where to go. I'm right behind you. So as he was walking to Jairus' house, there was a lady in the crowd who had been suffering from 12 years of bleeding. Can you imagine? 12 years of suffering. And no physician had been able to help her either. Yeah? But she knew without an iota of doubt that if she could only get close enough to Jesus, she would be saved. So as Jesus was walking, she came up behind him and she just touched the edge of his robe. Didn't even touch Jesus, just the edge of his robe. And the bleeding stopped. She was healed miraculously. In that very second, she touched that robe, the edge of the robe. Jesus stopped immediately, turned around, said, who touched me? And those around him, oh, not me, no, I didn't touch you. Not me, no, him, no. Everybody denied. Jesus looked at the crowd and said, listen, you guys, somebody did touch me. I know because an incredible amount of power has been drawn from me. Who touched me? Seeing that she could not really stay quiet, with everybody denying, this woman stepped forth, fell on her knees and said, my Lord, I'm so sorry, but it's me, I touched you. And I touched you because I've been bleeding for 12 years. No physician has been able to help me, but I knew that you have the power to heal me, my Lord. Therefore, I touched just your robe. Jesus looked at her. Deep love, deep compassion, and said to her, my child, your faith has healed you. Your enormous faith has healed you. Go in peace. No worries, mate. Go in peace. And there she was, completely healed. And she went scuttling off. What do you learn from this little story? Fantastic story. And the Bible is full of some incredible stories. And trust me, they're not mythical. Okay, let's see. The remarkable thing about this story is that this woman was not touched by Jesus. He didn't go and touch her. Neither did she touch him. She only touched the edge of his robe, edge of the robe, and yet received this incredible, miraculous healing. Power of the mind. Power of the mind. In conjunction with the power of universal forces. Yeah? We can do nothing by ourselves unless we are in tune with universal forces. And she was in tune with the power that Jesus exuded. Yeah? That's what healed her. Remarkable, fantastic stuff. What else does this story tell you? Two things. Two incredibly important things. Pay attention, because the rest of the class is going to be filled with examples of what these two things are. The genie called faith. Okay? Fantastic story. Let's look at what it actually means. Whatever we experience in life, whatever we experience in life, please understand, it originates from us, not from there. Us. The good, the bad, the ugly. It emanates, originates from us. Why? How? You see, the thing is, we live in a participatory universe. Participatory. This universe participates with us. Whatever we send out into it, it reflects back to us. Participatory universe. Tattoo. Things are not happening to you. Things are happening by you. Understand this truth. Yeah? Whatever we experience in life, flourishing or floundering, joy or sorrow, it's originating from us, not from anywhere else. It's originating from us. How? Whatever we transmit into the universal matrix is constantly being reflected back to us. Whatever we think about consistently, we bring about consistently, because we live in a participatory universe. It participates in how we are thinking, feeling, speaking, and acting. Yep. So when our thoughts are refined, when our life and our character is refined and beautiful, life reflects all the best things in the world to us. Our life is filled with joy and enthrallment. But when our mind is coarse, self-centered, arrogant, greedy, hateful, what comes back? The hounds of hell. Sharp teeth, sharp claws. Yeah, suffering. participatory universe. Whatever we think about consistently and act upon consistently, we bring about consistently, not randomly, consistently. One point. Second point. This benevolent universe, yes, it is benevolent. It is not nasty. It is a benevolent. Yeah? This amazingly caring universe is always there to serve us, is there. But it can only serve us when we provide it with the appropriate consciousness. Because it can only do for us what it can do through us. If we do not provide life, the universe, with the appropriate consciousness, it is powerless to grant us our deepest desires. No can do. Yeah. Once again, this benevolent universe is always ready to serve us. Right there. It is the bigger genie. Yeah. Always ready to serve us. But it can only do for us what it can do through us. And unless we provide it with the appropriate consciousness, it cannot and will not show us its grace and beauty and magnificence. It cannot marinate us in the quality of life we desire and deserve. Yeah? So the woman who touched Jesus' robe, just the edge, and was healed in the process because she provided the universe with the appropriate consciousness. And poof, healing took place instantaneously. Yeah? No doubting, no fearing. Total implicit belief that if she was to touch just the robe, she would be healed. Not even touch Jesus, just the robe. Can you imagine the power of the mind working in conjunction with the power of the universe? Hallelujah. Then think of some examples of this. Think of the breakthroughs in art, music, science, sports, all human endeavors. The breakthroughs have arisen when the individuals cultivated the appropriate consciousness to bring these miraculous gifts into the world. Without the appropriate consciousness, these secrets remained hidden. Yeah? Like I told you in the other class, flight. We discovered it just 2 centuries ago, roughly speaking. Before that, we had the mind, but it was not ordered in a way that allowed us to harness flight. Now we're flying all over the place. Yeah? Okay. To see if you really understood what I've just said, here is a question. To free ourselves from everything that ails us, troubles us, yeah? Ill health, unwholesome relationships, job dissatisfaction, difficult circumstances, whatever it is, to free ourselves from whatever ails us, troubles us. How deeply must we consider these conditions? How deeply must we focus on these conditions that are troubling us? We must not be thinking about them at all. Why? They're troubling us, must we? Yes, my darling. But these conditions that ail you, that trouble you, that torment you, these are only the results. These are the effects you are experiencing while the cause remains hidden. And the cause is you. Yeah? We're the cause behind whatever we experience. The consciousness, not well refined, creates difficulties. Unless the cause is addressed, the conditions cannot be healed. Not possible. Are you understanding? Yeah. This universe is there to serve us, but it can only do for us what it can do through us. If we do not provide the universe with the appropriate consciousness, the difficulties in our lives will be with us till the end of our days and beyond. You got that? People place so much attention, so much time, energy, attention, money on fixing the symptoms. But the symptoms are not the problem. We are the problem that created the symptoms. Unless we change, our reality cannot change for the better. No can do. Clear? Okay. Here are some more examples on this point. Imagine that you are hearing some incredibly divine music, enthralling music. It's coming from your neighbor's house. He is on the radio listening to this music. You're also a radio buff. Yeah? You know he listens to music on his radio all the time. But this guy is listening on FM channel. And you are believing it is on AM channel. So please tell me, no matter how much you fiddle on AM frequency, will you be able to pick up that music? No can do. FM, frequency modulation, amplitude modulation. Yeah? You're on a different channel. He's on FM, you're on AM. No can. Because that music is being broadcast on a different frequency altogether. Yeah? No can. Similarly, this benevolent universe is broadcasting joy and love and enrichment beyond your wildest imagination. 24/7, it's broadcasting that. Joy, bliss, amazement is there. But you're trying to get into that joy, that amazement on self-neglect channel, on arrogant channel, on indifference to the world channel. How are you going to tap in? How will you possibly tune in when you're on the wrong resonance? You can't. You need to be on the right resonance, appropriate consciousness. Are you understanding? Life is playing some fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. All the time, it's in front of you. It's right there in front of you. But you can't see it. You can't tap into it because you're on a totally different waveband. Yeah, totally different. Self-neglect. Indifference to knowing the true nature of this reality you live in. You're more interested in money, shopping sprees, pleasures. But that's not the channel on which pure bliss is being broadcasted. That's not the channel. It's not. Research upon research, worldwide, keeps reminding us that what most people regret the most are errors of omission, not commission, omission. Yeah? These are the deepest regrets. Not what we did, but what we failed to do. That's the deepest regrets worldwide. Research upon research shows us that what people regret the most are those actions that they could have taken, but they chose not to. Yep. So these people, when asked, so what would you do if you had to live your life again with the present understanding? What would you do differently? And they said, each and every one, that they would censor themselves less and express themselves more. Yeah? Less self-criticism, less doubt and fear, censor themselves less, self-limiting viewpoints, express themselves more. They would take those risks which they chose not to take. They would do those things which they knew would really benefit them, but which they chose not to do. Are you living in this fashion? Errors of omission. These are the regrets that usually pop up before we pop off. Not a good idea. Not a good idea to be living on the wrong channel. And therefore, my dear friends, those who live vibrant, fulfilling, productive lives, once again, those who live vibrant, enriching, productive, fulfilling lives have a habit of stretching themselves, doing what is to be done daily, because only then can they deliver their best to the world. No errors of omission, doing what is required. Yeah? Keeping the main thing the main thing. Yes. Why are we not doing that? Why are we not stretching? Why are we hiding in our complacent zones or possibly in the ditch? Here's another truth. Please tattoo in a head or wherever. The reason we're not stretching ourselves, the reason we're not really facing our fears and going beyond them, is because we cannot be what we cannot see. Yeah? We cannot be what we cannot see. If we cannot see ourselves, if we cannot envision ourselves blooming into our finest, why would we even make the attempt to do so? If we believe we are losers, if we believe this is all we can do, we cannot see ourselves as magnificent as God wanted us to be, why would we even make the attempt? What's the antidote? The antidote, timeless antidote for this terrible state of affairs is to associate, close association with, close friendship, loving friendship, close bonding with people who embody exemplary qualities. Till those exemplary qualities are rubbed off on us, we become exemplary. That is why, once again, the Sangha is so very imperative, indispensable. Being in the company of the right crowd, the right people. In my years of practice, all those years of tough practice, yeah, it was a little tough. I wasn't just inspired by the teachers I trained with, beautiful, beautiful beings that I've trained with. Yes, I was inspired by them, but it wasn't just them. I was equally inspired by the people I met on my journey. All those men and women who had committed themselves to a higher form of living. The stories they narrated to me, fantastic stuff. That's what kept me glued to the road less traveled. The majority are not on this road. The majority are floundering, looking for happiness where it cannot be found. And here I was, marinating in joy in the company of these people, the students and the teachers. In their presence, I started to bloom into my best because I could see myself in their eyes. Yeah, we need the right company. Spiritual giants throughout history have been cautioning us, yelling from the rooftops, cautioning us to avert the danger that has not yet arisen. For most, it has already arisen. Yeah? Hey guys, watch out, don't do it. But who's listening? The majority of beings are not listening. Even though they're hearing it, it is going in here and coming up from the nostrils or wherever. What are these guys telling us? These giants, spiritual giants, yelling, screaming, hey, watch out, watch out. What are they saying? What is the danger that we need to avert before it arises? What is their timeless message? I've been voicing it through almost every class. Are you guys listening? Here's what they're saying. And they will continue to say till the end of the days, till the end of time. Only few will listen. The majority deaf and blind. What they're saying is that even though family and work obligations are important, no denying it, Yeah. Family and work obligations are important. What is far more important is personal refinement. Yes. Because in the absence of personal refinement, family dramas will get the better of us and lead to suffering. In the absence of personal refinement, work scenarios will get the better of us and will lead to suffering. Yeah. So, to make sure that the family and the work situation are in a healthy state, we need to be in a healthy state. And it can only come through personal refinement, not a coarse mind, not a mind steeped in greed and selfishness and arrogance and fear and doubts. No, no, no. Yeah. If we neglect personal refinement, the danger which has not yet arisen will, by default, it will arise. I see it in my friends. I see it in my family. I see it with people around me, successful in the world, but inward deficit, no awareness, deficit, ending up in hospitals, divorce courts, financial difficulties, you name it, all kinds of difficulties. Why? Because personal refinement not on the radar. Maybe later, maybe day after next year. Yeah, good choice. Here's a graphic story. Tragic, extremely tragic, but graphic, lucid story of what these wise beings have been cautioning us against. Yeah? Avert the danger not yet arisen, because the danger can be devastating. Let's take a look. Years ago, when I was living in Mumbai, I was introduced to a celebrity by a friend of mine. Those two were really close. Yeah, so one day at her house, I was introduced to her friend, this celebrity. She had won accolades in her work, a doctor. Yeah, highly respected all over India, highly respected for her work. Name, fame, power, position, wealth, you name it. Top of the field. She knew what I was doing, but she didn't have any desire to read the books I recommended or the videos I recommended. Nothing, because she was already successful. She didn't need a fellow like me to tell her what to do. Yep. I met her on several occasions. She would ask me what I did. She would be curious but lukewarm. Then, sadly enough, she developed cancer, a raging form of cancer, and she was about to pop. Now, when she was already on the tarmac about to board the space shuttle, she asked my friend if she could have a meeting with me. So I obviously obliged. And there I was, having a chat with her, private chat. And she was narrating her story to me. Tears flowing down, extremely sad. She had been in a relationship with a married man who had promised her over the years that he would leave his wife and marry her instead. But he had no intention of doing so. She felt so betrayed, so angry, so resentful at how he had deceived her. And I guess that's what caused the cancer. Yeah, she was boiling inside. And there she was dying. So I asked her, in your next rebirth, what do you really wish for in the next rebirth? And here's what she said. To me, my professional success means nothing. It has not really fulfilled me. What I have longed for, Behram, in this life is to be loved and cherished by somebody, to be married to a man who would adore me and who would be mine, not somebody else's. That's what I've missed in this rebirth. It means more to me than professional success. I've got all these accolades. I have the money and power and name and fame, but it means nothing to me. What means the most is this love, which I've missed my entire life. So in the next rebirth, that's what I'm wanting, to be loved and cherished by somebody whom I can call mine. I looked at her, said, good, that's brilliant. And then I gave her some timeless advice, because she had been distressed about the wrong thing for decades. Her distress was about the wrong thing. And I pointed it out to her, and she woke up. What was it that she was overlooking? What did I tell her? What would you tell her? Here's this woman just streaming tears, streaming down, blowing her nose. Terrible state she was in. I felt such deep compassion for her misery. But she had not opened up to me earlier. This could have been averted if she had opened up to me or anybody else earlier to understand that she was on the wrong track. I knew her for 10 years, more than 10 years. And yet she'd never really even give it a second thought to look in the direction of personal refinement. No second thought. So what did I tell her? What was it that she was distressed about, which was not the right thing to be distressed about? I said to her, darling, for you to achieve what you desire, your consciousness has to be on that resonance. If your consciousness is not on that resonance, like it has not been in this life, it cannot happen. What you should have been distressed about, my darling, is the fact that you saw no need for loving yourself, knowing yourself, growing yourself, because it is from there everything emanates. To want someone to love and cherish you while you live in neglect of yourself, it's not possible. No can. You have been distressed about the wrong thing. You should be distressed about the fact that you did not make personal refinement your topmost priority. Because in the absence of that, the love cannot be there. No can. She got the message. Fortunately, she got the message. She got the right imprint before she died, a couple of weeks later. That unless we pay attention to what really matters, all the things that we desire in the world cannot come to us. Avert the danger that has not yet arisen. We are distressed about the wrong things, when we should be distressed about the fact that we have barely any curiosity or drive towards knowing the truth of our magnificence. That's where the problem is. Are you understanding? So here, please understand. Look around you. Look at nature. Look at nature. Looky, looky. See how profuse she is, expansive, abundant, glorious nature is. Created creatures beyond number, all kinds of creatures, created galaxies, created everything under the sun, nature, consciousness. The glorious mind has created all this stuff in profusion. Why would nature not grant you your desires? Why? Of course, it's there to grant you your desires, but it can only do for you what it can do through you, not otherwise. Nature is not scrimping, it's not stingy, it's abundant. From one seed, countless trees. Abundance is there. Magnificence is there for the asking. But we're on the wrong channel. How do I say this in other words? Shall I speak Swahili? Unless we provide nature with the appropriate consciousness, nothing's going to happen for the better. Nothing. The trials and tribulations we experience in the world, the traumas, the grief, the despair, it does not arise because of people and circumstances being a particular way. It arises from us crafting those people and circumstances into our lives. We have thought them into existence. We have grafted them into existence. Not people and circumstances. Why this person? Why not that? We are orchestrating our reality by the way we have chosen to live. And when we choose to live unwisely, it is not life that becomes difficult. We are being difficult to ourselves. Wakey, wakey. Please understand that the only limitations we experience in this world are the ones we place on ourselves. The only limitations, like this incredibly wonderful lady, the only limitations she placed on herself were those which she created. Yeah? Not being in touch with the right person, not having that love which she yearned for. Wrong channel. Yeah? The only limitations we experience in this world are the ones we place on ourselves. What we are not changing, we are choosing. And if we are choosing indifference towards personal refinement, is not pleasant living in the ditch or the zombie forest. Not pleasant. Many of us wait endlessly for courage and inspiration to manifest themselves before acting on what needs to be done. Not realizing that courage and inspiration, they always come after, not before any new venture is begun or any challenge has been faced and surmounted. Got that? Say it again. We're waiting for our fairy godmother, basically, to do it for us. But she is still vacationing in Hawaii. He ain't coming. We're waiting for courage to act, inspiration to get on the ball. Yeah, before we engage in those actions which we know are necessary, but which we continue to procrastinate upon. Why? Because we fail to understand that courage and inspiration always come galloping after any new venture is begun or any challenge is faced and surmounted. Then the courage flowers in the process of doing, not thinking about doing. That's where the courage resides, in the process of doing. The inspiration resides in the process of doing. Once we engage, then it sparks, not before. Once we engage. Yeah? Here's an interesting story. Before we end, as you guys know, I've lived in 4 different caves. Not easy. 2 caves especially not easy. Other 2 okay. So here's the first cave I lived in. Up in the mountains. The view from the cave. I doubt if any 5-star hotel in the world has that view. Brilliant. Magnificent landscape. Magnificent beyond measure. But I had to face my fears before I could appreciate anything. So I stayed in this cave for 1 month. On this special day, I had been hanging out with the sadhus, those guys with dreadlocks, yeah? Those ascetics, hanging out in their hut below, and we had been chin-wagging for a while, and it was getting dark. I usually went up to my cave before it got dark. But on this special day, special occasion, it had already become dark. I had a small little flashlight, and the path up to my cave, winding, rocky, thorny bushes, steep. And the cave was at a height. From the cave, looking down at those fellows, they were this small. Yeah, you can imagine, way up. So there I was, trundling along with my little flashlight back to my cave in pitch dark. No moon. Pitch dark. But I knew the path. And this cave had a ledge in front of it. Yeah, just a short ledge, about maybe 10 feet. Facing the cave, this ledge tapered off and into the valley. Yeah. This side, it broadened and went up the mountain. Here I was coming up, and I shone my light into the cave just to check if it was all okay. And it was not okay. Staring back at me from the cave, huge red eyes, huge. My heart went straight into my mouth. Blah! Sweat poured out of me in an instant. I wanted to shit, piss, and vomit at the same time. I was scared out of my wits. There was no help. Even if I screamed, those guys below could not hear me. Not with the wind blowing, especially. Okay? I put my torch into the cave. Two huge red eyes staring at me. There are bears in those mountains. There are panthers in those mountains. Yeah? Wild creatures. And the Himalayan black bear is ferocious. The panther, also ferocious, usually avoids people. He likes doggies, not people. But the bear comes straight at you. So many villagers have scars from encountering those bears during harvest time. Where the bears are inside the bushes or inside the harvest, then they. I cannot tell you how petrified I was. Yeah? Scared out of my wits. All alone. And my mind went into a hyperdrive. Yeah? To figure out what was the best solution for survival. Hyperdrive, which means in seconds, I was computing the best strategy to face those eyes in the cave. Running back down was not an option. It was pitch dark. I would have broken my neck. Yeah? I would have stumbled and broken my neck. It was steep. Jagged rocks, thorns, not a good idea to run. Besides, if I run, I show my fear. I was already exuding fear. If I scream, I'm showing fear, already exuding fear. Not option. My best approach was to take refuge and find my power, settle into my power. No other option. I have power. I have to tap into power. So the best option was to as calmly and quietly and lovingly move towards the left on the ledge where it tapered down to a drop. This creature didn't come from the left. It came from the right side. Yeah? I had to give it space to move back out and go from where it came from. It wasn't going to go this way. It was going to go this way out. So I had to create the space because I was kind of in the middle. I walked on the ledge towards the left. And I just tried to see what it was that was inside. Was it a bear? Was it a panther? What was it? Definitely not the devil. Because the devil was in my head, scaring the shit out of me. Yeah? I couldn't see what it was, but it was huge. It was huge. So I looking, keeping my torch pointed at those eyes and those eyes following me. To the left, petrified, but slowly and surely calm happening in myself. And then I started to whisper. Animal whisperer. Hey, sweetheart. Come on. I am tired. I need to sleep, buddy. And we're not sharing the cave tonight. Out the door. Come on. Out. Back where you came from. Come along. And I approached inside the cave from the left. Yeah? And then I saw it. I saw what it was. What was it? Guess. Huge. Saw it. And as I saw it, the fear just vanished. Vanished. When I saw what was inside the cave. It was this huge bull, black as the night bull that had wandered in from the forest. There are shepherds out in the mountains herding cattle, sheep, goats. And this fellow must have been lost, must have wandered off and was looking for shelter in the cave. A bull, harmless. Well, depends on how you approach it. Hey, sweetheart, come on, out the door, yeah, go out there, boys. I'm sleeping over here. You're not sharing the room with me or the cave with me. And he went out where it came from. You cannot imagine my relief that it was not a bear. I would not be here today, if it had been a bear. Well, who knows? I may have been able to tame it. Yeah. Courage and inspiration usually come, very often come, always come after we face and surmount challenges, not before. Through that deep fear and that deep commitment to facing that fear, I got one notch up on the boldness award. Please understand, once we really know our calling and we are really committed to our calling, there is no challenge that is daunting enough for us to take the safe route to awakening. No challenge. Oh, too much. I'm going to get out of the cave. I don't like it. No. Once we know our calling and are totally committed to it, then there is no challenge that is daunting enough for us to seek a safer route to awakening. Because a safer route is coffee table practice, which is no practice. We have to place ourselves in tough situations, for only then do we bring out our strengths, not in safe environments. Yeah? So by facing and surmounting challenges, one after the other as they arise, we embolden ourselves, find that power to stay loyal to the voyage of our life, to craft that spectacular destiny which is rightfully ours. Can't craft that spectacular destiny in a safe context. Impossible. We have to take those risks We have to face those challenges. Only then do we awaken the genie in us for crafting miracles. Please understand that. Yeah? But first, we have to find our calling and be true to it. Then nothing the good Lord sends our way is scary enough for us to turn tail and run. Mm-mm. We stay loyal. We are emboldened to remain loyal to the voyage of our lives for crafting the destiny that is rightfully ours. Wake up. Wake up, wake up. Thank you for listening. Keep rocking.